Overtime!
Hey guys, we are in the bed of my truck, and today on this episode of Overtime Arcade, well guys, this is actually a very special episode of Overtime Arcade for a couple of reasons actually. First of all, I've picked up a new machine. I picked up a new project last night, which is always exciting, so I'm excited to share with you what I've got. We'll take a look at this machine, we'll rip it apart, kind of figure out what's going on and what work we have cut out for us over the coming weeks and months, so that's always fun. And secondly, there's actually kind of a personal story behind this pickup that I wanted to share with you. It's something that, a lot of us go through with our families, over time, and I wanted to share that story with you. So yeah, I'm excited to dig into this and kind of see what's going on, but before we do that, why don't I tell you that story? So last weekend was President's Day weekend, and I spent a few days back home in Connecticut helping out my parents. They're both getting pretty advanced in age, and my father in particular is having some serious health problems. Whenever I go on road trips, I like to check out Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist along my route on the way home to see if I can pick up a decent project for sale in an area where I'm not normally searching for deals. During this particular trip, a listing popped up in New Jersey that really caught my attention. As you can see in these photos, it was a pretty incredible and gut-wrenching scene. It turns out the seller's father had sadly passed away recently and left behind a few dozen project cabinets and hundreds of random parts. Most of them were stored in a large canopy tent with walls, but unfortunately a windstorm had blown away the cover, and these cabinets were left exposed to the elements for at least a few months. When I arrived, I immediately expressed my condolences to the seller for his loss. He thanked me and started sharing some stories about his late father. At one point back in the day, he had been an operator, but in recent years had been focused on repairing and restoring classic games. His health had been declining, and he wasn't able to take care of things anymore. The seller told me how difficult it was to watch his dad slowly fade away until he wasn't there anymore. I explained that my dad was going through the same thing, that my own father was suffering from the exact same ailment that ultimately took the life of the seller's father, and that my brother and I had just spent the weekend moving my parents into an assisted living facility. Neither of us could believe the coincidence. As a friend of mine says, sometimes the Matrix is lazy. I thought this pickup was going to be a bit like a mini warehouse raid, but it was more like a junkyard, or worse. You can see in the photos just how rough of a shape these cabinets were in, but they looked even worse in person. Virtually every bit of metal was rusted to heck, every shred of wood was unbelievably swollen, and the particle board in particular had all turned into a crumbling sponge-like material. I spent some time picking through everything, trying to find something I could salvage. There were a few interesting things here, like the Sega Megatech and Piranha by US Billiards, but almost all of the cabinets had been converted, many of the monitors were necked, and there really wasn't much here worth saving. And you know me, I'm usually willing to take on basket case projects that most folks in the restoration hobby won't touch. The one thing that really caught my eye was this Moon Patrol cocktail. Williams cocktails are somewhat rare in general, and I had never even seen a Moon Patrol one in person before. The top piece of wood was totally shot, but I think it had somewhat protected the internals, and inside everything looked like it was there. So I worked out a fair price with the seller, loaded it up on my truck, and headed back out on the road. All right, and with that out of the way, let's dig in. So here's the reveal. We'll rip this tarp off. And yeah, it was kind of drizzling last night and this morning, so when I got in late, I didn't want to take this, unload it by myself in the middle of the night. So yeah, guys, I got the Moon Patrol cocktail. It's a bit of a mess, and especially now that I'm seeing it in the light of day, we've got some work to do. So this thing had been sitting out in the rain. Unfortunately, I think that the glass is still in good shape. The plywood on top is really swollen and delaminated. And I see some swelling down here, but I do think this is salvageable. and when I was loading this, the seller was kind enough to help me load it onto my truck. But to get cocktails off of pickup trucks, I found it's usually good, obviously to have somebody helping you, but if you can't, take the monitor out, take everything you can out to make it as light as possible, basically to just grab it and take it off the truck. So that's what we're going to do. I actually dropped my Donkey Kong Jr. cocktail when I was trying to take it off my old pickup truck by myself. So I'm gonna try to avoid making that mistake. And yeah, these are a little bit awkward. These cocktails are a little bit awkward to move. Just because you can't like slide it back and then lean it onto its feet. You almost have to like pick it up and take it out. So that's what we're going to do. So it is unlocked, and actually it wants to open up that way. And it rained, like I said, it rained a little bit overnight, but this, I had a tarp on it. I had a couple of tarps on it. Wow, this is real. I might have to just replace the entire top piece of wood, but that's okay. Let's see if I can sort of slide this and turn it around. It is sitting on some cardboard, so I'm not just ripping up the bottom. Oh. And yeah, I don't know if I've ever actually seen a Moon Patrol cocktail before. Obviously I played Moon Patrol. I've seen Moon Patrol. It's a fun game, side-scrolling, sort of, in a car. So it's a combination of a driving and almost a running gun. So what is that? A driving gun? Just left and right controls to increase the speed, fire and jump. And these Williams cocktails are such an interesting and unusual design. And what's nice is that it's got a 19-inch monitor inside. I don't know if you can see from this angle. The instruction cards are a bit faded, so those will definitely have to be replaced. And yeah, we're gonna have to do something. Perhaps maybe I can salvage like the veneer layer. But yeah, the wood on top is not in great shape. So let's open up the top here. And I even see some liquid kind of trapped in between the plexi layer. I think what I want to do is just completely remove this hinge. There's just a few screws here. Hopefully they're not rusted and they might be. Oh. Yeah, I don't know if those are going to budge. So maybe we won't do that. All right, I got it spun around now. What I want to do is take the monitor out. I want to take the boards out. And you probably can't see, but there are these little kind of like latches that you pull, I think, up on to release the door panel. And there's a little like plastic catch here you push in. And it opens right up. And it's interesting about Moon Patrol, and I want to work quickly just so it doesn't get blasted by the sun. There's been a little bit of edge repair there. Let me go grab a edge cutters, side cutters to cut some of the zip ties. What's interesting about Moon Patrol is, even though it was released and distributed by Williams, it's actually a game that was developed by Irem. And I could be wrong, but I think it was Irem's first ever arcade game. All right, now hopefully you can see what I'm doing now. All right, so yeah, I didn't need to take those metal blocks off, but yeah, let me get this inside for safekeeping. All right, and boards actually look pretty good. The legs of the ICs aren't all rusted up. But yeah, there's a mess in here. I can see the original power supply board has been removed. It's got a switcher that's been put in there, and yeah, we're gonna have to vacuum the heck out of this thing. Okay, let's take a look at this monitor. That might be a K7000, which is not original. Didn't look like it was. Oh, and I see the keys hanging there. So let me disconnect the video cable. All right, video is disconnected, and it looks like the power is just with a couple of wire nuts, which obviously that's not great. Pull those off. So now I think the monitor is disconnected except for ground. So what's the ground situation on this thing? Is it even grounded? I see the grounding strap has been cut. That's not good. So we might be free and clear here. And let's see, up top, the monitor is attached, looks like with some screws. So let's push this out of the way. And hopefully I can break these. Yeah, okay, good. All right, that's all 4 bolts removed. Let me actually grab some gloves so that I can lift this easier. And looking at the screen, there's kind of a little bit of interesting burn on it. When I was looking at it last night with just flashlights in the seller's backyard, I could kind of tell that it wasn't the original monitor, which I'm guessing would have been a 4900. Like I said, this looks like a K7000. I couldn't see any burn last night. I can see a little bit today, and it's not Moon Patrol burn. And it looks like it's actually backwards, right? Like I can see the word score on the side, but it's like flipped. It's like written backwards almost. I can see hostages down at the bottom. I'll have to figure out what game has that sort of a sidebar. Being very careful here. Okay, we're free. Put this down gently, and we'll get it loaded or offloaded from the truck. And yeah, this is let's take a look down here. Yeah, this monitor, it says, it's a 19K 7601. So a 19-inch horizontal K7000. And the neck board is very dirty. The chassis is not terrible. So yeah, I think this is a good candidate to use. So we get this into the garage. Okay, so with that, we've taken a lot of the weight off of this thing. And here, if you want to take a look, prepare yourself. We got a mess in here. So look at all those acorns and crap. Here's the transformer assembly, which I believe is original, and it's sort of like the transformers lifted off of the board. But I think that's normal for Moon Patrol. It's not the same as Joust or Robotron, that sort of thing. And I can see there's a fuse missing from the fuse block. And here's the new switching power supply. Joysticks, and these control panel overlays might be salvageable. I don't really see much of an issue with them. Some of the buttons are, like the springs are rusted, but I think we're in decent shape here. There's the interlock switch sort of dangling there. Yeah, and there's a mess. This has been hacked up a bit, but yeah, some sort of animal nest. Yeah, let's try one more time and see if I can get this the top glass off of the cabinet. Let's see. Like I said, I think these screws are just rusted. Like it wants to move. No, that's not budging. Or any of the others. Yeah, that one's fine. That one's fine. Oh, these two on the right. I can get this one to kind of turn. No, we're gonna have to do something with that. So, how does the glass itself come off? There are these clips. Maybe I can carefully remove it from there. All right, that one's moving. Ooh, that screw head broke right off. Okay. This screw head, look at that. Comes right off. Okay. Not very encouraging. That one's just rusted. The Kingdom Come. All right, I don't think I'm gonna be able to. Maybe I can take it off here. That one's good. That one's good. That one's moving. That one's missing. And that one's good. Maybe I can get this clip off, which will let me take the glass off just to get it a little bit lighter. All right, got those screws off, and hopefully I can get this clip to come off. A little part of me is worried that the wood is so swollen. Oh, no, it's coming. The wood's swollen to the point where it wouldn't let go, but all right, we're good there. Glass is loose. And there's like a strip here. Oh, I guess that's to protect. I see what's going on. So let's remove the glass. Can we get it off of the bottom piece? Yeah. There we go. And yeah, these instruction stickers sadly are going to have to be replaced. And we've got some tinted plexi, which still has some moisture in it. And this is like a plastic bezel. This is all beat to heck. Oh, and look, there's money here. I've got just completely corroded pennies. I wonder if these were being used to prop it up somehow. Yeah, look at that. 5 pennies. Man, this wood is not in good shape. It's like flimsy now. But I think we got some weight off, so let's get this off the truck. All right, and with that, I think we might be ready to start trying to take this thing up. I kind of want to grab the power cord and just pull it into the machine so that we don't run the risk of that getting hung up on anything. I'm just pulling it through the hole in the bottom that's meant to be there for the power cord to come through. All right, that's actually not so bad. We got stuff falling off. We got all kinds of issues here, but I think this will be a fun restoration. So let's pull this towards the edge. Even the cardboard is wet and falling apart. Okay. Let's get a better angle for you to see this thing come off. And hopefully I don't drop it and or injure myself in the process. So, okay. All right, we're at the edge. How does this lift? Like this? All right. So maybe the best thing to do, I don't know if I can really grab it like that. I almost want to ask my loving and understanding wife to come help me get this off the truck. But let's try to do it by ourselves. You know, it's not the weight that's the issue. It's the awkwardness of the shape and the lack of great spots to just grab on and hold it. Maybe if I do this and hold it from the inside on the monitor mounting bracket. Yeah, okay, this is gonna work. This is gonna work, he said. Try not to blow my knee out. There we go. We're on the ground. All right, that was my last good knee too, so. All right. Let's see. Whoa. Come back all the way here. All right, we grab a hand truck and pull this into the garage. All the acorns are sliding around in there, but that's all right. Here we come. Moon Patrol is in the garage. And boy, do we have our work cut out for us on this project. So yeah, let's take a final look and wrap it up here. Okay. All right. Here it is. Not sure when I'll really get started with this project, but wow, a lot of work to do here. Yeah, just look at how swollen. Look at how swollen. Oops. Just look at how swollen this is. That's plywood. That's not particle board swelling. So yeah, a lot of work to do here, but this should be fun, and I think the end result will be something special and something I'll remember. Monitor over here, glass and other bits over here, but yeah, and I'm out of breath from, just heaving that thing off of the truck. But yeah, I think that'll about do it for this episode of Overtime Arcade. As always, thanks for the likes, the comments, shares, subscribes, everything. I love all the feedback. And stay tuned for the coming weeks and months, and we'll really dig into this Moon Patrol project. So yeah, I think that'll about do it. Thanks for watching this episode of Overtime Arcade. I'm Charlie, and I'll see you next time.
Overtime!